So I came across an article from Gizmodo titled 6 Mistakes the Last Airbender movie made that we pray aren't repeated in the new show. Let's talk about it. Hey everyone, welcome to the Geek Talk. Today I wanted to discuss what I just said in the intro. Of course, I think some of you know this, not all of you guys know this, but I'm not particularly excited about the new show, and I wasn't already excited for it even before the announcement of the creators leaving and being like, nah, this isn't for us, which just brought my expectations for it down even further. But I saw this article, and let's go ahead and react to it and see if I agree with the points. I already saw one point on there in particular that'll be kind of controversial, so keep your hats on for that one. Number 1, make the bending bend. In Avatar: The Last Airbender, single characters could raise oceans, burn villages, and move entire mountains. People say this all the time. The only person who actually did that was Kyoshi, and then people try to say like everyone does that, like as if Toph can do that too. Like no one's really moving mountains all the time, guy. Come on now. In Shyamalan's film, they needed like 7 guys to carry a pebble. The bending was tremendously disappointing and often contradicted well-established points from the show. For example, in the series, firebenders could summon fire out of thin air. It's what made them so threatening. In the film, only Iroh could, and this was treated as a big deal. Yeah, I guess I can agree with that. The movie, which I probably have watched the movie twice. I've only seen it twice. Once when I saw it the first time when it was on Netflix. I didn't even see it in the theaters because I was like, I don't need to see that movie. But I watched it on Netflix, like on my phone when I was on vacation. And then I watched it again for the Finalysis series the podcast that I do. And that's the only time I ever watch it. So I don't really think about the bending in the movie all that much. And the thing that comes to mind first, of course, is that big ritualistic bending thing with the earthbenders. And then all they're doing is tossing a pebble. Now, this is probably due mostly to budget. I don't think that Shyamalan really was limiting his imagination in that way. I think it was just a fact of like they probably ran out of money and that scene didn't have anything to do with it. But it's true that they did kind of drop the ball with the fire bending having to come from existing fire instead of it actually coming from your own chi, which is, yes, that is established in the lore that you could do that the chi within you is what empowered firebending. So it's weird for that to happen. I'm sure it's going to be better in the TV show. That's one thing I think that the show will probably get right is the fight scenes, and it's probably going to be the best portion of it, I think, especially when we've seen a lot of these fan films out there that are doing really good stuff, and also just the progression of fire effects and water effects and that sort of a thing. I think they'll be okay. The only issue that might be with that is that Netflix budget is still a Netflix budget, so it's still going to be like TV looking, so it might not look great all the time, but I think generally it's going to be all right. Number 2, fix name pronunciation. The names were right the first time. Gonna say this. That's actually one of the things the movie actually got right. And what I'm saying by that, when I say that they got it right, is that they actually were using the more traditional pronunciations of those words, or of those names specifically, versus the show, which is a little bit more Americanized. You can even see some of that inconsistency between the series and the audiobooks and things like that, where like the original Asian pronunciation is used. For instance, Aang, as much as you might not like it because it's not what you grew up with and it's not how you recognize the name, is actually the correct way to say that name, as well as some others like what was the other name that I'm thinking about right now? May should not be pronounced as May. It's spelled M-A-I, which is supposed to be Mai, and people always get up in arms when people pronounce the name Mai, when really, technically speaking, that is the right way to pronounce the name. Now, of course, May did not appear in the movie because she didn't appear until book 2, and they never made a second movie, so we don't know if she would have actually been called May or Mai. But just to put that out there to give some credit where credit is actually due, the words were actually correct in the movie, and it was the show who got it wrong. Number 3, give Katara her due. Played by Mae Whitman on the animated show, Katara was the voice of strength on the series. Sure, she was made fun of for always talking about hope, but that's because she believed in what they were doing and was willing to fight for it. She was a young woman who overcame systematic sexism, found a cause she supported, and grew in her abilities as she helped save the world. Yeah, I guess I can kind of agree with it. The actress they got was pretty plain Jane, I guess. Like, she didn't really have a lot of that Katara in her, and that was an issue with most of the characters. I feel like a lot of the characters were very lifeless within the. I can't even think of one character who was really, well, except for Zuko, of course. The guy's name, I think Dev Patel is the actor's name, but he was just doing a little bit too much. He was like doing some overacting in there. But yeah, like, not just Katara, I think everyone needs to be given their dues. I think they really should take their time with the casting, because I think the casting is actually going to be the most important part of the actual show having success, and not just the fact that, you know, the characters should be appropriately cast as Asian looking people, which I also think is very important as well, but just they should also be able to act, period. Because, you know, the basis of Airbender isn't just the magic system or the great adventure and all that. It really is the characters and the interaction and the chemistry between the characters, so they have to get that right if they're gonna get anything right in the show. Number 4, make Sokka funny. Let's also talk about Katara's brother Sokka, a lovable clown whose strength and sincerity were matched only by his amazing sense of humor. Oh wait, where did he go? He seems to have been he seems to have been replaced by a dish rag. Same thing as I was saying before. Yeah, the casting is gonna be super important, beyond just the race stuff. Like, I think like the personalities of the characters really need to be present for the show to have any kind of footing, because it's already on bad footing as it is. But if it wants to have any form of success, cast at least the main characters correctly. Like, sure, it might be hard to get, you know, as many actors as you want for each and every role, but at least get the 4 right? Like, get Sokka, get Katara, Aang, and Zuko right. If you get and Iroh, of course, too. 5, you're required to get 5 of these casting choices completely right. And if you get those 5 right, you'll be fine for like the entire rest of the series. And then, of course, until you get to Toph, and then you have to get Toph right as well. Number 5, establish Aang and Zuko's bond. One thing the series did amazingly well was draw the parallels between Aang and his arch nemesis Zuko, paving the way for the Fire Lord's son to eventually join Aang and his friends. I mean, there's a reason why The Storm tops every best episode list out there. These characters have a powerful bond that was established long before they were allies. Yes, I totally agree with this. I think the movie, of course, didn't have the ability to do this because it's only spanned over, 2 hours, and they were trying to crunch in an entire 24 episodes series into just 2 hours. But one of the things they should have kept was the storm. Like, that should have been the turning point of the movie. That should have been like the midpoint of the movie. I understood why they got rid of the Kyoshi warriors. I think I would have agreed with that too if I was making this into a screenplay. Kyoshi warriors kind of have to go. The Great Divide, the fortune teller, like all those little things, those little episodes have to go. The things that you should have focused on, and primarily what this movie, what the movie should have been about, was Aang and Zuko solely. So anything that was Aang dependent or Zuko dependent stays. So that's the blue spirit, which they did have in the movie, to be fair, and the storm. Like, the storm has to be there. But now, of course, we don't have to worry about this because the TV show is going to be a TV show, so they're going to have a lot more time to do all of that. Now, they're probably still going to be doing some cuts because I can't see them doing a live action series of each and every single episode, so I'm sure things are going to get a lot more truncated, which is fine. I think there were some episodes in the first season that were filler beyond just the Great Divide. I think there was other episodes too that could have you could have skated over. Like, I think the fortune teller can be skipped over, for instance, and Bato, the water tribe, could have be skipped over possibly. But yes, the things you cannot skip, skip the storm, and you cannot skip blue spirit. And more than that, with blue spirit, like, you have to make sure that scene of Aang saying that he and Zuko could have been friends 100 years prior when, you know, the Fire Nation was cool. Like that, you got to have that, or you're not going to succeed with the show. 6, improve Princess Yue's story. The last Airbender movie adapted the full first season of the show into a 2-hour movie, and Princess Yue was definitely given the shortest straw. Though she was originally shown as a sweet but clever foil for Sokka with a tragic past that turned into a beautiful gift in the film, she was turned into a submissive dolly for our stoic jerk-face to moon over. Then she turned into the moon. Now, okay, the issue I have with this is actually from the show itself, because I don't think there's a lot given to Yue even in the show. So I won't really fault the movie for not doing Yue justice, because I don't even think the show does Yue justice. All of that stuff in the I think the Northern Water Tribe was really skated over very quickly. And if anything, I think the show has the opportunity to make that arc a whole lot better. So yeah, in terms of what can be done to be improved, I would say just the straight foundation of this can be improved. And I think if they can do that, then yeah, then that you could actually go to the show and be like, hey, the show's actually the better version. Like if you want to see a better version of like, you know, the Water Tribe arc, the show does it better because you could potentially do it better. Now, there's things that happen in the Water Tribe that are fine already, like the Katara stuff that was ruined in the movie, but be kind of rectified in the TV show. But I think the main thing actually is to improve. When they say improve Princess Yue's story, I'm not saying improve it as in like that the movie The Last Airbender did it poorly, but that the TV show did it poorly as well. And now is the opportunity to kind of like re-up on that. Now, of course, as I've said before, the creators disagree with whatever. I'm actually kind of interested to see the show just on the back of the creators leaving, and I kind of want to understand like what specific moment or what scenario made them go, yeah, no, we're not going to be a part of this. Or was it a case of they wanted to like do a beat by beat remake of the animated series and they just didn't get that to happen? Because it's possible, very small chance, but I think it's possible that the TV show could possibly be a good adaptation, not better, but a good adaptation. Like for instance, something I bring up all the time with Harry Potter, the third movie is my favorite, even though it doesn't closely follow the book or it changes some things about the book. It's the best translation of book to movie, period. And it's possible that if they are doing something different, and that's the reason why the creators left, because again, we're speculating, we don't know why they left. If it's the case where they're just making a new adaptation and that new adaptation is the perfect different version on TV, like as a live action thing, than it was on animation, and it's good in its own right, I think that's the best thing that we can hope for this series, rather than just hoping that it's going to be like a remake of just live action. But that's it. I want to know what you guys think about what you think has to happen for the TV show for it to see some kind of success. Let me know what your list is down below. Also, you can see more of my videos here on the left side of my face, right side of my screen. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace, love, and remember, be water, my friends.